Wow. There it is. What's up, everybody? Good evening. Or good morning. We got some people in Australia watching. It's 8 o'clock in the morning over there. If you're in Ukraine, it must be... Shit, it must be like 4 in the morning over in the Ukraine, right? Somewhere between like 2 and 4 in the morning. You're up way too late. We're here talking about health. I don't want to ruin your your health by keeping you up so late. But what's up? We appreciate everybody coming. Got loads of people here hanging out, waiting. Oh, we're gonna have a fun stream tonight, guys. We had an intense one. When was that? 2 days ago? 2 days ago, we got all into transhumanism. We talked about how veganism ties in with transhumanism. Today we're having some fun. We're gonna talk all about Dean Ornish today. Or as I like to call him, Swami Dean Ornish Vegananda. Dean Ornish. So the Ornish diet's been around for a long time. A lot of these vegans that you see on the internet, a lot of these veganelicals will reference Ornish as somebody who has authority, somebody who's a doctor. The guy worked really hard. He got his doctorate degree. I'm not sure what he actually studied or where he studied. But Dean Ornish Vegananda is heavily referenced within the plant-based and vegan movement. Dean Ornish puts out all kinds of content all the time. And Dean Ornish is on the chopping block today. Dean Ornish says, like some of these other vegan doctors, all sorts of ridiculous shit. And we're going to kind of break down some of it. We're going to have a little bit of fun talking about Dean Ornish, this handsome young man right here. But first, we've got some administrative stuff to take care of. We've got a bunch of people jumping in. Let's wait for some more people to jump into the live stream here before we really dig into the Dean Ornish material. Got people in California, over in occupied territory, my former home, California. We got folks in Thailand. We got people all over. Seems like most folks in the USA. Dean Ornish, American doctor. I'm guessing he's from... I know he's not from New York, but I was going to say he looks like he might be from New York. Looks like a lot of my friends that are my boomer friends that I know from New York. He's from Texas, actually, believe it or not. Dean Ornish is a country boy. No, he's from Dallas. I'm not really sure about the roots of the Ornish family. It would be interesting to learn about what his parents were like. I wonder where his folks came from. We're going to get a little bit into this today, but let me find... I've got the wrong one pulled up here. Let's find the right Dean Ornish video. There it is. I didn't make that screenshot, by the way. That's Mick the Vegan made that screenshot. He's a vegan YouTuber. His name's Mick the Vegan. See him right there. He's that guy with the red beard, and it looks like did he dye his hair black and jerry curl it? I like that. Is that a vegan thing? Is this vegan style? The jerry curls on a white boy. So yeah, Mick the Vegan actually he made this screenshot. I didn't make this to try to discredit them or anything. They made that themselves. So, I mean, the work is done. But let's get into this. Dr. Dean Ornish, heavily referenced in the vegan movement. He's no Dr. Greger, right? Let's give him that. I mean, he's no Dr. Greger. He's no Dr. Joel Kahn, the Kahn man, Joel Kahn. He's no... who else is there? I guess that's kind of it, right? Oh, he's no Dr. McDougall. Dr. McDougall is my favorite, I gotta say. I got a real soft spot in my heart for Dr. McDougall. He is hilarious. Dean Ornish. If only we can get Dr. McDougall interviewing Dean Ornish. That would be epic. I'll have to look that up next time. I'm sure there is. But we've got lots of material to hit on today. Let's jump right into it. Here's Mick the Vegan interviewing Dean Ornish.
Here I am with Dean Ornish again. We had a great conversation last time.
Oops. I got that playback speed on 1.5. Excuse me. He doesn't sound that chipmunky at normal speed. Let's go. Mick the Vegan. Tell us what's up, Jerry Curls.
Here I am with Dean Ornish again. We had a great conversation last time, and today I'm going to be asking him about epigenetics. So thank you so much, Dr. Dean Ornish.
Great to be on your show again. I so appreciate it.
Awesome. And so epigenetics is sort of a complicated, abstract concept. So if you could explain it in simple terms to people that don't know what it is.
You know, when I went to medical school, I was taught that.
How's the audio? I'm hearing some interference here, some little clicking sounds, but it's only when I play the desktop audio. I don't think it'll be a problem as long as my mic is clear. What? All right. So this, first of all, Mick the Vegan, interesting cat. I like the door. I like the wood door. Kind of a nice aesthetic. But what's up with the? Is it just me, or do all these vegans have like a specific look? And Mick the Vegan, he's looking all right for a vegan, but I don't know. He's kind of. What do you guys think? There's this specific pallor that vegans get. The skin tone, it just gets off. I don't know what it is. It looks like he maybe has some decent genetics, right? They're talking about optimizing genetic expression, how to change your DNA expression. It's funny to me. I mean, Mick the Vegan, he does look like somebody who may have had decent genetics, but just thrashed them with a vegan diet. Or like maybe when he was a kid, he kind of looked like this Viking type character. Hey, but he looks like a Viking that got CRISPR'd wrong. The Chinese were trying to make like this Viking basketball player that would just be a huge star in China, and they screwed up with that CRISPR technology. They messed it up. I mean he kind of looks like Mick the Vegan. He's got this look that it's just so. Let's hear how he's optimized his. Let's hear how he's optimized his genetic expression. I want to know about this.
So if you could explain it in simple terms to people that don't know what it is.
You know, when I went to medical school, I was taught that the only way you could change your genes is to change your parents, you know, and which is obviously impossible, that you're stuck with them. And I can't tell you how many patients have said things to me like, oh, I've just got bad genes, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, in fact, even I've been working with former President Bill Clinton since 1993 when Hillary Clinton asked me to help train the chefs to cook for them at the White House and later Camp David and Air Force One and the Navy Mess and so on.
Dean Ornish, how dare you tell these people that you've been my Dr. Dean Ornish? Let's go back to Mike. I don't know which one's Mike the Vegan. He's so excited to talk to Dean Ornish. He's so excited. Talking about optimizing genetic expression. 30 seconds in, Dean Ornish is already dropping Bill Clinton's name. What's up with this? Bill Clinton, he's Bill Clinton's doctor. Bill Clinton's doctor. Let's look how Bill Clinton. There's Bill Clinton with Hillary. Billary when they're together, I guess we call them. This is the hottest celebrity couple. The hottest celebrity couple in Washington. Bill and Hillary Clinton. On their way to get some delicious pizza. Bill and Hillary ordered at least $20,000 of hot dogs this lunch. Wink, nudge. Look at Bill's gaping. That's Bill Clinton right now. This dude's Bill Clinton's doctor. He's doing a good job. Doing a good job so far. No, that's not, the screen's not frozen. Everybody around him's moving. If you don't notice, that's just Bill zonked the fuck out. I just want to say I'm so proud of Hillary. She's an amazing woman. All right, so Dean Ornish, Bill Clinton's doctor. I don't know. All right, let's keep going though. Name dropping Bill Clinton. I think Bill Clinton is he might not be doing so well on that vegan diet there. Well, who knows?
Have said things to me like, oh, I've just got bad genes, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, in fact, even I've been working with former President Bill Clinton since 1993 when Hillary Clinton asked me to help train the chefs to cook for them at the White House and later Camp David and Air Force One and the Navy Mess and so on. And he followed the program pretty well, but then with all the political stuff going on, he kind of got off it. And then 10 years ago, his bypasses clogged up, and one of his cardiologists held a press conference and said, oh, it's all in his genes and his diet and lifestyle had nothing to do with it. And having worked with him for so many years, I knew it had everything to do with it. So I sent him a note and I said, look, the friends that I value the most are the ones who tell me what I need to hear, not what I just want to hear. And you need to know that it's not all in your genes. And I say that not to blame you, but to empower you. Because if it were all in your genes, then you'd be a victim and you're one of the most powerful guys on the planet. And I thought, well, maybe I'll never hear from him again. But he got back. We met a few days later. And
There's Bill. That chick on the right, Bill definitely told her all about what's in his genes. He showed that lady what's in his genes. He got Dean Ornish's suit. Wow. Dean Ornish looks like Henry Kissinger's slightly less genocidal cousin. What is this?
he's now been doing this reversal program that I write about in the new book and that we've been studying for 40 years.
And this is Dr. Ornish's new book, Undo It, How Simple Lifestyle Changes Can Reverse Most Chronic Diseases. Definitely check it out. The link is in the description below.
Again, whatever your politics, I think it's a great example for someone who especially was known for not eating a particularly healthy diet or lifestyle to begin doing all these things. And he's been doing it great for the last 10 years, and he's doing well. Because what I shared with him is that our genes are a predisposition, but our genes are not our fate. And I did a study with Craig Venter years ago, who was the first to decode the human genome. And we found that in just 3 months, over 500 genes were changed, turning on the good genes, turning off the bad genes. It's not that you're actually changing your genes, but you're changing the switches that turn those genes off and on through a process called methylation, or different proteins called histone and non-histone proteins that act as switches. There are things that are called Sirtuins that are enzymes that wrap your DNA around these histone proteins as a way of turning off the harmful genes. That's why they're called Sirtuins. It's an acronym for something like silencing information regulator. They're like anti-aging proteins. And a lot of good research has been done in that because they really play an important role in the aging process and in so many chronic.
so this guy's talking about Sirtuins and all these, using terminology to basically confuse the audience. He thinks the audience is really dumb, that if he just throws out some of these terms, he's got a list of these terms that have to do with methylation, Sirtuins, and different compounds and plants they'll name that have 3 or more syllables. And the dumbed down masses, the unwashed masses, like not the people that go to galas with Bill Clinton, you know, not people that go on Air Force One, the masses, you, me, us dummies. They think we're not going to know what they're talking about. We're going to think, oh, they're so smart. He's so smart. This guy's got to have the answer. He said Sirtuins. That word's really cute, isn't it? Sirtuins. It sounds like a little Dr. Seuss creature or something. Wow, Dean Ornish. Just weaving these big words, this quilt out of these big words, but it's a big quilt of nothing. Right? Ultimately, what's he going to say? Do a vegan diet, and it's going to turn on all your good genes. Look, there are bad genes and there are good genes. Eat the vegan diet, and you won't get any of those bad genes expressing themselves. It's pretty absurd. Let's skip forward a little bit. I got a couple other little time marks here. But Mick the Vegan seems pretty impressed, though. He seems pretty stoked.
And these get passed on to your kids as well.
So that's pretty impressive and crazy in just a few hours. So I'm just so curious as like what is actually happening in your body. So like you're all of a sudden deciding to go from eating a standard American diet.
Here's when Mick the Vegan, whatever you say it. Here's when he actually asked him a legitimate question. Okay, you're talking about all genetic expression, epigenetics, the way that our genetics express themselves due to environmental factors, the way certain foods, certain compounds can actually affect genetic expression at the micro level. What is really happening at the macro level here? What is really going on here? Give me something practical. To which, let's see what he can bring. My guess, he ain't gonna bring nothing.
Diet, being sedentary, to having like an active, healthier lifestyle with, you know, a whole food, plant-based, vegan diet, whatever. So what's actually happening? It's like your body's like, oh, this food's good, this thing I'm doing is good, so let's just flip that switch. Like, do we know why you can change this so quickly?
Yeah, well, we don't know all the reasons, but we know a lot more than we used to.
No, we don't know much at all. We're talking about isolating specific genes, isolating specific compounds, and making broad sweeping assumptions on what they're going to do at the macro level from looking at the microscopic level, very oftentimes in a freaking petri dish. These people, they don't understand as much as they claim to. Every single year, a new book comes out talking about maximizing or optimizing your genetic expression, biohacking your way to health. You're going to live forever with this perfect diet. And they're always way more complicated than the average person can handle. People even complicate keto and carnivore to this level. And it's pretty ridiculous. So let's see. What's up with, are you guys actually getting notified? This is the lowest attendance I've had in a live stream in like 5 months. What's up with this? What's up with this? We just losing subs left and right, or is YouTube not sharing it? I'm starting to think that this algorithm might not like Bald Man Bad over here. Radical Greek didn't get notified. OK didn't get notified. Someone got notified, though. There you go. Someone else got notified. Another person didn't get notified. Yeah, this is weird. You know, if you're not an androgynous, childish dupe, they're not going to promote you. What's up with this? We got less than, that's crazy. All right, well, let's keep going. We're not here just for viewers. We're here for people who want quality content. That's why we do these streams. That's why I prepare for these streams. Sorry you guys are not getting notified. Try unclicking the bell and then clicking the bell once again. Sometimes that helps. Make sure to thumb this up. Likes and shares actually do help. But the algorithm ain't liking Bald Man Bad these days.
And these mechanisms are so dynamic in both directions. You can get better quickly, you can get worse quickly. And I think just before we get into the actual biochemical mechanisms of this, the larger context is that so many people think, you know, if I change my diet, it's to prevent something bad from happening years down the road. And that's not a sustainable motivator. Fear of dying will get your attention for a month or so, but it's not sustainable because, you know, we all know at some point we're going to
tell us how you sell it. Tell us how you sell it.
Per person, but we don't think about it.
Marketing angle. What's the marketing angle? Here it comes.
And so I've just learned that efforts to try to motivate people to change out of fear are not really sustainable. And I think that's true for global warming. You know, I used to get in discussions with Al Gore about this. I saw him recently a few days ago. You know, that when Inconvenient Truth came out, it got to galvanize everybody's attention, but people stopped talking about it because it's, you know, the idea that we may all die, you know, in 10 years is just too scary, so people just tune it out. But when you make these changes, precisely because these biochemical mechanisms, including the epigenetics, are so dynamic, most people feel so much better so quickly in ways that really matter to them. It really reframes the whole reason for changing from fear of dying, which is not sustainable, to joy and pleasure and love and feeling good, which are.
Yeah. So he's just talking about, how's my audio? I know the audio is rough for Dean Ornish because I hear it. It's rough for me too, but how's my audio? Is this audio bad too? Let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to An Insight, an Idea with Dr. Dean Ornish. I am Nancy Gibbs. I'm the editor of Time. Talk about someone who needs no introduction. Dr. Ornish is obviously a physician, a best-selling.
Yeah, audio's a little rough from there too. Let me try something. Okay. That should be better. I think my mic's probably okay though, right? My audio sounds good. The vid's kind of quiet. All right, I'll turn up the video.
So within hours, your brain gets more blood. You think more clearly. You have more energy. You need less sleep. You can grow so many new brain neurons in a process called neurogenesis. Your brain can get measurably bigger, particularly those parts of your brain that you want to get bigger, like in what's called the hippocampus that controls memory. And we can talk later about this new study we're doing on reversing Alzheimer's. Your skin gets more blood, so you age less quickly. You look 10 or 20 years younger. Your heart gets more blood. We showed for the first time you could actually reverse even severe heart disease. Your sexual organs get more blood flow. And so it kind of reframes this whole idea of like, okay, I'm you know.
Okay. You can have a bigger brain. You're going to have a bigger dick. Yeah, the audio's better, guys. I had to restart. I've got to use all these little plugins and stuff. It's pretty complicated to run this show. We work hard to get this out to you. That's why we appreciate all you guys' support. We always appreciate the super chats. We had quite a few awesome super chats the last few weeks. Oh, and then speaking of which, let me give a little shout out to some of the audience members who have made generous PayPal donations this month. First of all, Martha. Martha, I know you're watching. You're always watching. You're awesome. Martha's always chatting with me on Instagram DMs. And she was a member of the Keto and Carnivore Collective at some point early on last year, which is our group community coaching setup, which is really fun. And speaking of which, we're going to do one, Jessica's reminding me, we're going to do one next month, July, or whatever next month is, we're doing it. So it's July 7th. The next Keto and Carnivore Collective is starting. It's going to be really fun. We're excited for this one. We took a month off. We did 12 consecutive Keto and Carnivore Collectives. I don't think we took a month off in the last year. First of all, the thing that's so awesome about it, it allows me to connect the coaching clients that we get with each other, and it's a really good community setting, and not fake community as in like YouTube and Facebook comments, right? Like people get to talk to each other if they want to in private message. We use a Discord server, and we do live interactive voice chats twice a week. One of those is a lesson, which it's going to be a recorded lesson, which is really cool. So we used to just do the live lesson, but it's the same lesson every time, basically. So it's like I'm teaching the same course every month. This time we're going to do recorded lesson and then Q&A after the recorded lesson. Really fun setup, though. We do one live Q&A a week other than the lesson. And basically, we're here to help you set up your diet. We're here to help you do this long term. So the idea is not to just, you give somebody macros or here's like some shitty cookie cutter meal plan. No, it's about teaching you, equipping you with the tools so that you can do this sustainably, enjoyably, and long term. So the last few Keto and Carnivore Collective have been a lot more keto carnivore centric rather than just keto centric. So much keto stuff going on in the past, but right now the carnivore thing is really taking hold. And that might be because we get a lot of former vegans who are coming on the channel. Melissa Dykes, what's up? Melissa Dykes in the chat. Give you a wrench so I can see if you have anything to say. Let's see. Melissa Dykes of Aaron and Melissa Dykes. She is of TruthStream Media. You can find Melissa Dykes on the Boiler Room last week. We had a great conversation on the Boiler Room. Speaking of which, shout out to Hesher and Spore. They were getting down on the Keto and Carnivore Collective a few months ago.
Yeah, they loved it.
Yeah, they had a really good time. We're going to do a special Keto and Carnivore Collective Boiler Room episode at some point in the next few weeks, I think, if that's still on. Lots of things on the menu, though, guys. So if you want to sign up for that, you can sign up within the next, let's see, what is the date today? What's the date today, honey? 6/12. Today's the 12th. So you got a few weeks left. You got about 3 weeks to sign up. It's going to be really fun. Yeah, Melissa, hope to see you and Aaron in the Boiler Room again. Someone just asked us what vegans do about all the animal products and vaccines, says Melissa. That's well, look. Is that hate speech?
It's got to be something. It's too challenging of a question.
Look, Melissa Dykes, you just made my head hurt, okay? The internal censor inside me is just the internal cogs of censorship and Big Brother embedded inside me is I cannot speak anything about this issue because I have internalized Big Brother to the extent that I have no thoughts of my own. What do vegans do about animal products and vaccines? Well, Melissa, the aborted fetal cells that are used in vaccines, the aborted fetal cell lines, the same stuff that Pepsi was using extracts of to make sweeteners, those are vegan. Hear me out. Those are vegan because they're from dead fetus. They're from a dead human. And dead humans are the most vegan thing, right? In fact, there's nothing, Durian Rider says there's nothing more vegan than abortion. So it helps overpopulation, number one, which is obviously a big problem because television says so. And yes, that's my answer. That's my answer. All right, let's go back to Dean Ornish. I'm going to jump forward here. Oh, no, we're at about the right spot. So Dean Ornish, he's selling you on this plant-based diet. It's going to be so great. It's so awesome. Let's hear how he sells it again.
Severe heart disease, your sexual organs get more blood flow. And so it kind of reframes this whole idea of like, okay, I'm am I going to live longer? Is it just going to seem longer if I eat a plant-based diet? And reframe that to say, look, this is how you enjoy life more fully. You have more energy. You have better sex. You have, hotter sex in a cooler planet. All these things matter.
Here's a good one. Make the vegans laugh right there is the best. Here's a good one. You have hotter sex on a cooler planet. You got hotter sex? Cooler planet. He name drops Bill Clinton and Al Gore and then says hotter sex for a cooler planet. That is so funny. He's like, and you know what? I like what he said. He actually used one of our lines that we've been talking about here. Because we say, look, a vegan diet, it doesn't actually make you live longer. It just makes your years that you live seem so much fucking longer. Imagine not eating any animal foods. No meat, no milk. Do you know what Dean Ornish's diet is? Dean Ornish's diet, I mean, it's a truly transhumanist diet because it biohacks. Check it out, guys. Check it out, millennials. It's going to be lit. Dean Ornish's diet actually helps you to biohack your natural starvation mechanism so that you are always slightly starving and you're never getting enough fat. You're never getting the fat-soluble vitamins you need. And you're perpetually semi-starved. And as we learned the other day when we talked about transhumanism, starvation brings longevity. And these transhumanists, they're talking about, let's put a brain chip in there. Let's make people feel like they're satiated while they're starving. And Dean Ornish is kind of onto something here. He even admitted it. It just seems like life is so much longer on a vegan diet. Let's see what he actually promotes. Where is Dean Ornish's diet? I have way too many tabs, you guys. So many tabs. Dean Ornish's diet. All right, so here's Ornish Lifestyle Medicine. Ornish.com. And this is their program, the Proven Program. This is the program that all these vegans are talking about. This is the greatest way to enlightenment. This is going to give you full dietary enlightenment. Don't ever do these, crazy diets where you're consuming local animal foods. Do a Ornish diet. So let's see what it is. Our approach to nutrition is all about feeling good, experiencing a joy of living, not a fear of dying. So if you eat this diet, you're going to have a joy of living and no fear of dying. That's pretty cool. I'm down for that. You'll lose weight and gain health. I'm cool with that. What's sustainable? That sounds good to me. I watch enough TV. That works for me. What's sustainable is pleasure and feeling good. All right. So relish in this delicious and nutritious way of eating. Ornish Lifestyle Medicine has been scientifically proven to reverse the progression of even severe coronary heart disease, type 2 diabetes, hypercholesterolemia, and high blood pressure, as well as to slow, stop, or even reverse the progression of early-stage prostate cancer. All right, so why is this? Let's see what he actually tells you to eat. First of all, here's a really dumb infographic for 2-year-olds. Reverse heart disease, it's a bowl with dotted lines, and kids, follow along. We can trace the lines with our mind. If you want to print this out, you want to hit that print button, you can trace the line to reverse diabetes. And then you can trace the line to lose weight. And you can trace the line to reverse prostate cancer. I don't know why I just turned into Pauly Shore. But let's move on. The Ornish nutritional element. I just try to make Jessica laugh. She sits next to me, and if she's not here, it's like, these other really bad streamers who they need their chat to constantly react to. I just try to make my wife laugh. That's all. Because she sits next to me, and she's working. She's in the creation station. She's working here. You guys want to see? If I can make Jessica laugh, then it's good. I don't care about you audience members. No, I read your super chats and stuff always. Let's see. Let me check if there's any super chats here. Dean Ornish. Dr. Dean Ornish. All right. No super chats yet. We got 124 people now. That's cool. Still pretty low attendance. I'm thinking Google's not liking us these days, but I'll be a good boy tonight, guys. Take extra vaccines, guys. Extra. Triple dose them. Don't read the inserts, ever. The Ornish nutrition element is high in good carbs, good fats, and good proteins. And it's low in, guess what? Bad carbs, bad fats, and bad proteins. So, all right. So basically, for those of you guys who need me to dumb that down a little bit, the Ornish nutrition element from this beautiful infographic. I don't want the book. Please go away. Little slider at the bottom. The Ornish nutrition element is high in good stuff and low in bad stuff. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. Eat mostly plants in their natural form. Eat mostly plants in their natural form. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, soy. Okay? No meat. No eggs. That's mostly plants, I guess, in their natural form. I guess that's not a full-on vegan diet. Maybe you're allowed some animal foods and some fats. I don't know, how much fat can you have? Limit bad carbs, which are refined carbs, sugar, concentrated sweeteners, white flour, and rice. Sugar is permitted in moderation but not encouraged. Maple syrup, agave, honey, or white or brown sugar, non-fat sweets, and refined carbohydrates are recommended to limit to no more than 2 servings per day. They've got a typo here. Maybe I should email them. Alcohol is allowed in limited amounts, like when you're going to a Clinton banquet, when you're kicking it with Al Gore on his private jet, going to lecture some plebs on why their babies are destroying the planet. You can have a couple glasses of wine. You sure that's wine? Don't drink the Abramovich wine, though. All right. 4 grams a day of good fats. Wait. What the fuck? 4 grams a day of good fats. 4 grams of good fats, guys. That's you get 4 grams. You know how much 4 grams of fat is?
That's shocking.
That's a teaspoon of fat. You get a teaspoon of fat per day. My goodness. My goodness. You get a teaspoon of fat a day. I mean, that's really nice of you to allow us plebs to have that teaspoon of fat. I mean, this is truly this is truly nice, so kind of you. Maybe that's why Dean Ornish looks like that annoying boomer who you don't want to go into the sauna with. Maybe that's why Dean Ornish looks like. What does Dean Ornish look like? Dean Ornish looks like Eeyore reincarnated as a human. You get how many grams of fat per day? 4 grams of fat per day, folks. No more than 10% of your calories can come from fat. This is achieved by not adding any fats, oils, avocados, coconut, and olives to a mostly plant-based diet. The 10% calories of fat comes from fat that occurs naturally in grains, vegetables, fruit, beans, legumes, soy foods, and small amounts of nuts and seeds. Wow. Limit cholesterol to 10 milligrams or less per day. To meet this goal, non-fat dairy products are optional and limited to 2 servings per day. Non-fat dairy products are optional. It says that 2 times in a row. Non-dairy alternatives are encouraged, such as soy milk, as they are cholesterol-free and rich in heart-healthy nutrients. This is so ridiculous. This is not a healthy diet, first of all. Less than 4 grams of fat per day. Non-fat dairy products. The best part of the dairy. The best part of this shit is the fat. You know how shitty non-fat dairy is? He doesn't mention the importance of consuming dairy unpasteurized as well. The pasteurization of dairy. The bastardization of dairy. Man, low-fat dairy. So he's not even vegan, though. So Mike the Vegan interviewing this guy. Mike the Vegan, all these people are always talking about, if you eat 1 piece of fish or 1 egg, you're out of Club Vegan. Yet, they talk about the Ornish diet. It's not even vegan. All right, now, Dean Ornish, more power to him. If he's reversing heart disease with this is why I think it would be working. He's pulling out all the fats, meaning people are not going to be getting all those polyunsaturated fatty acids that they're getting on a standard American diet. Melissa says, is this the part of the horror film that happens right before the zombie apocalypse? Yeah. None of the zombies are going to be fat enough to want to eat each other, though. So they're just going to be lazy-ass zombies in this boring movie. Not even going to be fast like in I Am Legend, which was also a shit movie. All All right, example. 1 low-fat food serving equals 5 almonds.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
5 almonds. And of course, all the fat sources that he recommends are full of anti-nutrients as well. Like this is a very low quality diet. Can this reverse heart disease? Well, it's pulling out most of. I mean, you're not having any of these industrial shit oils, right? The vegetable oils are not in there. So there's a big chance that yes, this would likely reduce inflammation. Is this sustainable? Is this enjoyable? Absolutely not. 2 teaspoons of chia or sunflower seeds, shelled. You could have 6 peanuts with no shell, though. Don't eat the shell, guys, because you're going to be getting so much fiber from all those beans and legumes. 3 or less servings from low-fat foods or nuts can be included per day. Low-fat foods such as packaged foods like veggie burgers, low-fat whole grain crackers, or cereals that contain less than 3 grams of fat per serving. These low-fat foods may contain a minimum amount of added, mostly unsaturated fat such as olive or canola oil. Goodness. Oh, goodness. Eat mostly plant-based proteins. What plant-based proteins? Mostly plant-based proteins. First one he lists, egg whites. Egg whites. Hey, vegan high grounders. Your hero Dean Ornish recommends egg whites on his website, and you're promoting this dude as if he is a vegan. Egg whites, tofu. And by the way, fuck egg whites. Why would you eat just egg whites? Dean Ornish would be so triggered to know that I throw the whites to the dogs. You know what? I don't even give them to the dogs anymore because I don't want to create a biotin imbalance in the dogs. I give the egg whites back to the chickens. I give the egg whites to the chickens. Chickens, yes, they will eat egg whites. No, it's not going to hurt them. Chickens will eat eggs. Chickens will eat beef. They love it. They love meat. Chickens will eat other chickens. Rooster will peck them to death. So egg whites, tofu, tempeh, beans, legumes, non-fat yogurt, non-fat cheese. 3 of those are animal products. And I say products because there are animal products. Egg whites, you buy in a carton. No, the yolk is the best part. But egg whites, non-fat yogurt, non-fat cheese. Processed foods. Tempeh, processed. Tofu, processed. This isn't a... All the protein sources you just recommended are either animal foods or processed foods. Okay. So it's an ultra-processed food diet. Moderate salt use. At least it gives you salt, right? Caffeine. Reduced caffeine. Okay. Supplements. Low dose of multivitamin and mineral supplement with B12. Without iron, if not of childbearing age. Fish oil. You're not vegan, dude. Not that Dean Ornish is this like ethical vegan pioneer. He doesn't care. Dean Ornish pushes a low-fat diet. Dean Ornish pushes the diet that every dietitian from the American Heart Association, or every dietitian stamped with the approval of the American Heart Association. What else? The American Cancer Society or whatever it's called. All these big groups that disseminate knowledge, like the priesthood of nutrition. He tells you exactly what these normies tell you to do. But check it out, guys. It's a great diet because, look, high in good carbs, good fats, good proteins, low in bad carbs, bad fats, and bad proteins. That's the diet he recommends. Explains a lot. All right, let's go.
Come together in this way. And the genetics is just one of the many mechanisms that helps.
Let's hear this again. This is one of the funniest parts.
Am I going to live longer? Is it just going to seem longer if I eat a plant-based diet? And reframe that to say, look, this is how you enjoy life more fully. You have more energy. You have better sex. You have, hotter sex in a cooler planet. All these things matter come together in this way. And the genetics is.
I just can't get enough of Dean Ornish saying hotter sex on a cooler planet. I just love that. Jessica's looking at me like, end the stream right now. Let's warm the planet, baby. Just like, let's warm this piece of the planet. All right.
Just one of the many mechanisms that helps explain that.
So I think I remember you briefly saying in the last video that we were able to see even some gene expression changes from sort of mental shifts. Was that correct or incorrect?
No, it's correct. There was a study that came out from Jeff Dusek.
Gene expression changes from mental shifts. So he's talking about what modern medicine calls this the placebo effect, but it is, there's a powerful aspect of health, of healing, of just, general sense of well-being that has to do with your mental state. And a lot of these people that are experts at just this, at actually tricking you into getting that placebo effect. And it's funny, a lot of these vegans online, and the YouTube vegan people, they say, if you eat animal foods, it's just the placebo effect. It's just the placebo effect. But they're masters of this placebo effect manipulation. You tell people it's going to give you better energy. You're going to feel so amazing. You're starving. It's basically, you feel like you're fasting all the time. The foods you're eating are so disgusting. You're not deriving any minerals and vitamins from them. Your body starts eating itself. You're starving. But the NLP you into thinking this feels great. Hotter sex, cooler planet. High five, Al Gore. Yeah. If you're new to the channel here, we don't buy into all this nonsense of the planet is dying because you're eating meat, right? The planet's dying because you're having too many babies. No, we don't buy into this nonsense. Global climate change, global problems. We need global solutions, guys. What are the solutions? Well, those solutions are going to be Dean Ornish diet for everybody. And Bill Clinton come in there. Oh, I'm so proud. Dean Ornish. Dean Ornish was there bringing bananas to the White House. I used some of those bananas in some very memorable moments. I'll tell you what. Don't tell Hillary.
Changes from sort of mental shifts. Was that correct or incorrect?
No, it's correct. There was a study that came out from Jeff Dusick at Harvard where they looked at changes in meditation, changes in gene expression due to meditation. And again, to set the context, in our program, people, you have to eat. It's eat well, move more, stress less, love more. You have to eat. So it's just a question of what you eat. Most people know that exercise is good, and it really feels like, you're out there really doing something. And love.
This is the exact advice that doesn't work. This is the advice that they've been giving for 50 years while they're feeding you this junk food, the canola oil products, the tofu, the heart healthy whole grains, and it doesn't work. It makes you sickly. Look at these people. And they think that the egg whites and the fish oil, it's just a little, supplement with that and you're just going to be optimal. They don't realize that if they would just eat some fish, they just have a steak. They just eat real foods and have legitimate amounts of fat in the diet, not 4 grams of fat. He's limiting these people to 4 grams of fat per day. Goodness, if you just eat some dang animal fats and have a fatty steak, you'd feel better. This is crazy. Mike the vegan's just stoked. He's eating it up.
I think more people obviously get the benefit of that. But like meditation, well, I don't know. I'm a busy person. I've got 1,000 things to do. Why should I just sit there with my eyes closed when I've got all this stuff to do? It doesn't look like it's doing much. It looks like you're just sitting there with your eyes closed. So this one study found that just meditation, they looked at non-meditators, people who were taught to meditate for 8 weeks, and what they called advanced meditators, people who'd been doing it for a year or more. And they found there was this dose-response effect, that meditation alone changed the gene expression in over 300 genes. Again, always turning off the bad genes, turning on the good genes. And there was some improvement after 8 weeks, and even more improvement in gene expression after a year, both in terms of upregulating the good genes and downregulating the bad genes. And it just, again, shows that it may look like you're not doing much when you meditate, but just how powerful these simple techniques can be, again, in only 8 weeks. And probably these changes occur even before then.
And would you say that that might be, if you're looking physiologically at the stress response, people are maybe lowering their cortisol levels?
Speaking of stress response, Mike the vegan looks like he just saw a ghost, always. Like what? Mike the vegan, speaking of gene expression, DNA expression, doesn't Mike the vegan kind of look like one of Queen Elizabeth's kids that she had to put in a sanitarium that no one really knows about? It's like he would have been the 3rd prince in line, but he just wasn't up to stuff, so they put him in Iowa.
Stress and things like that, maybe that's signaling how genes should be expressed, or do you think there's another explanation for it?
I think that's you're right. That's part of it, but it's more than that. There are proteins that turn genes on and turns off. They're like switches. And as we talked about earlier, if you can turn off a gene that causes you to get sick, then it's as though you change your genes. Functionally, it is as though you've changed your genes. And glycation is another process in which the sugar in your bloodstream attaches to fats and proteins, and they form these really harmful molecules that cause things like oxidative stress. And oxidative stress is when your electrons like to travel in pairs, like people do. And if you take one away because of, something like radiation that's knocked one of those things out, for example, or whatever.
So again, no explanation for why a plant-based diet is good for us yet. I'm not really seeing where he's going with this, but hey, Dean Ornish, he seems like a nice guy. He just seems totally lost, right? I mean, you start giving a person these celebrity contacts, you tell them they're brilliant, you bring them to the UN, you bring them to the World Economic Forum, and you let them give a presentation, they start to feel important. They start to feel like what they're doing must be right? I mean, I think he's just kind of a dupe. Mick the Vegan, he seems all right, too. He's like a guy who had like pretty decent genetics and is just destroying them on a vegan diet. I hope he gets well. We make jokes here. We have a good laugh. But it's all in good fun. And if you really are Queen Elizabeth's illegitimate son that she had to put away, tell Queenie to leave me alone.
Stress, inflammation, and again, it's just another example of how all these things interact with each other. And they may also contribute to dementia, to Alzheimer's as well as kidney disease and heart disease and lots of other things.
I mean, oxidative stress is implicated in every major disease is the big quote. So if you can work with that, then you're doing good.
And so, in foods that are high, it's just another example of why a plant-based diet is good for you, because both the type of the food and how it's cooked affect these age molecules. Animal-based proteins that are high in fat and high in protein, high in sugar, are rich.
Animal-based proteins that are high in fat, high in protein, and high in sugar.
In age, and they also when you cook them, when you like charbroil them, for example, it creates even more of them. Whereas,
all right, so talking about when you burn food, it creates advanced glycation end products. Now his diet, the way that he sets it up, where it's so dangerously low in fat, but also the carbohydrates are very, very high. A lot of these keto people, a lot of people from the low-carb world might say, oh, well, that's going to create all sorts of problems with blood sugar dysregulation. But if you really do keep that fat super low, which is totally unsustainable, and keep the carbs super high, and you're not eating a bunch of like shitty omega-6 seed oils all the time, which is this diet kind of inadvertently does do that, although it gives you a few grams of fat from canola oil, which is like one of the worst, you probably would have less advanced glycation end products from not having as much insulin resistance, right? So very low fat, very high carb. There is a magic thing that happens there. Like people do the potato diet and they remit diabetes. Now it's not sustainable, obviously. I would say that a keto diet, a low carbohydrate, high fat diet is a much easier and sustainable approach that people do for years, right? And there's historical precedence for it. And you can eat locally and you can eat animal foods. So I would say that there are things that he's right about there, like reducing the intake of all these omega-6 oils. Big thing. That will bring good results. And at least he includes some animal products. So we'll give him some credit there.
The whole grains, fruits and vegetables and whole grains and legumes and so on, are relatively low in ages, even after you cook them. So again, they not only are...
all these whole grains and stuff are full of other anti-nutrients, right? Wheat, for instance, zonulin, opening up the little barrier in our gut, opening up between these little microvilli in our gut. Your gut is one of the most sensitive parts of the body. More nerves in the gut than almost any other place in the body. Right? It's just so sensitive inside of there. and wheat, zonulin, these proteins in wheat, can actually aggravate this, opens up these little microvilli, these little tight junctions in the gut, opens it up and allows particulates to get through into the blood. This can actually pass the blood-brain barrier and lead to all sorts of issues. All right, so one of the major things that we see a lot of people having problems with when they come out of these diets like Dean Ornish recommends are gut issues, digestive issues. Highly difficult to digest these highly indigestible foods that are full of anti-nutrients. And he's saying that the animal fats, that's so destructive. The animal fats are so terrible. We got to stay away from those dang animal fats. Pretty ridiculous. Pretty ridiculous. So, everybody in the chat, make sure to hit the thumbs up. Make sure to like the video. Share it. The sharing actually does help with the algorithm, but we're definitely thrown on the back burners from the algorithm. At least half the people, when I asked earlier, said that they weren't getting notifications. You know, you never know when you're going to get thrown out of the YouTube treadmill. So we're looking at some other things and some other models. So another thing, got to thank the generous PayPal donations that we've gotten this week from some of the viewers. This week and last week. There was another one, a really generous one recently. Kevin, dude, thanks a lot. I know Kevin watches the Boiler Room as well, listens in on Boiler Room. Kevin, much appreciated. Really appreciate the support, man. It is very, very, very appreciated, the generous donation you gave via PayPal. You know, the PayPal is pretty cool because at least YouTube doesn't take 30% of it like it does with the Super Chats. Super Chats are always welcome too, guys. We've had some awesome Super Chats this month, so thanks to all the people throwing the big Super Chats out, keeping it afloat because these videos get very often demonetized. Some of them have even been put as age restricted, which is ridiculous. We're so tame with this here. I'm such a good little boy these days on YouTube. And so, yeah, thanks a lot, Kevin. And then also John. John, thanks a lot. I think you sent a donation yesterday. We saw it. We got it. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. So, yeah, we got the little PayPal link down there below. If you guys do want to donate on PayPal, it is... Here, I'll throw the link in the chat. PayPal.me/PrimalEdgeHealth. Helps to keep these streams afloat. And, of course, if you want to support the channel... See, we run commercial breaks, but it's just me babbling. If you want to support the channel, make sure to check out primaledgehealth.com, where we've got our books available. The Carnivore Cookbook, for people who really love animals. Awesome book. Jessica spent a long time making it. Thanks for the book, Jessica. You did a damn good job. Damn good job on the book. It's all animal foods. All high fat. All right. Radical Greek says, yes, YouTube unsubscribed me a few times. And we've heard that from a lot of people. Some people were saying that YouTube took the bell away, which you can, he says, I've been watching for months and I just went to hit the bell and was not subscribed. YouTube unsubscribed at least 3 persons in here, 3 people, and unclicked the bell for several others. So, hey, you know, it is what it is, guys. Make sure you're actually subscribed. Hit that share button. And come on, algorithm. What did I do? What did I do? What have I done to you, algorithm? All right, so Dean Ornish. I'm sick of this video with Mike the Vegan. We've got another Dean Ornish video queued up already, though. Where's that one? Dr. Dean Ornish. Dr. Dean Ornish. Here's Dr. Dean Ornish on Rich Roll's podcast. Rich Roll is a guy that lives out in the Malibu Hills. He's a entertainment lawyer, and his father was an entertainment lawyer, and now he's a podcaster. And you can also find episodes of him interviewing the guys from, like, I think it was Impossible Inc., just ranting and raving about how amazing it is, and Impossible Inc. is making fake meat burgers, and it's going to save the planet. He's kind of one of these guys who seems like a real sweet person, seems like a really nice guy, decent athlete, done okay on a vegan diet, promotes absolute garbage, consistently promoting these mainstream narratives. It's a lot of characters out there like Rich Roll, promoting towing the party line. Future Oprah guest Rich Roll kind of guy, but does seem like a nice dude. Has some terrible artwork in his room here. Let's hear what Dr. Ornish has to say to Rich Roll, who, as far as vegan diets go, as far as long-term vegan athletes, he does seem to be doing pretty dang well. So I'm not sure if Rich Roll is actually 100% vegan or if he's plant-based. I'm not sure how often he's eating animal foods, if at all, but does seem to be doing well compared to other people. And here he is interviewing the great Dr. Dean Ornish, a.k.a. Swami Dean Ornish Vegananda.
So here's what we're doing in the new book. Okay, I've been a veteran. I can't tell you how many times I debated Dr. Atkins. And by the way, his autopsy, which was
those videos on YouTube are awesome.
Wait, all right. Let's set this up. This is actually pretty inflammatory what he says here. This is a little bit triggering, you guys. I'm a little bit triggered by this. Dr. Atkins is the enemy of all of these low-fat, processed food pushers. Dr. Atkins told people to eat fatty meat. Dr. Atkins told people to stop eating their bread, their refined carbohydrates, all these highly profitable junk foods. Dr. Atkins completely went against the medical establishment, the medical, agricultural, pharmaceutical establishment that is, putting the major funding into the universities, that basically has all the universities on the bankroll and dictates policy to groups like the American Dietetics Association, who take a lot of money from Coca-Cola. All these people were pissed at Dr. Atkins. And Dean Ornish was butting heads with him for a while, too. All right, we got a super chat. Thank you. Oh, there you go. Shell. Shout out to Shell. Says just showing some support. Keep up the good work, guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate the support. Really appreciate. We got one of the best audiences. Some of you guys, sometimes it's hard to, because I'll read the chat, and some of you guys say so many funny things. I just want to stop and read your funny ass chats, but I gotta keep going. So here's Dean Ornish on Dr. Atkins.
Interdependent, and even if you constructed the most rigorous study of all time, how are you going to measure the psychological impact on somebody who begins to make a change, starts to feel better, and then becomes more emotionally invested in, working on other areas of their life? Like, all of these
That's
things,
the point, exactly.
Work together.
So here's what we're doing in the new book. Okay, I've been a veteran. I can't tell you how many times I debated Dr. Atkins. And by the way, his autopsy, which was
those videos on YouTube are awesome. There's a lot of them.
I know, and all of his acolytes, the Gary Tobbses and others. But
see what disdain he speaks about Atkins with, right? Just pure disdain. Oh, I debated him. Almost like he's glad he's gone.
I'm done with that. I mean, first of all, Dr. Atkins' autopsy report got released. It shouldn't have been, but it was, and it showed that he died of heart failure. I mean, he didn't die because he slipped and landed on his head. He died because his heart was, he was in heart failure.
See how he blinks and looks down? Because he knows he's being dishonest. All right, now that was very, very... All right, first of all, Dr. Atkins is dead, right? And this guy is shitting on his grave. Lying about Dr. Atkins. So he just said Atkins died of a heart disease. Atkins died not because he slipped and fell, but he died of heart disease. Now, this is a talking point that a lot of these people make, right? They say Dr. Atkins was 250 pounds when he died. Dr. Atkins was obese. He died of heart disease. Where is it? Let me pull. Damn it. There it is. Too many tabs. Oops. Yeah, there it is. All right, so here's Dr. Atkins' poor wife, who's got to get pulled into this shit because all of these people pissing all over poor Dr. Atkins' grave. God bless his soul. I mean, the guy actually went up against the medical establishment. These people have nothing but awful lies to tell about this man after he died. So Dr. Atkins died, and here is what this poor woman has to say. Dr. Robert Atkins, whose diet books were revered and reviled in equal measure, died in mysterious circumstances 18 months ago. In her first interview, the widow Veronica turns on his critics and tells Olga Craig that he was not obese when he died. All appears as one would expect around Mrs. Atkins' lunch table. Fat wine balloons brimming with bottled mineral water sit in each place setting. There are condiments, but no bread. There is no sugar in the bowl, but the saccharin sachets are those recommended in Dr. Atkins' new Diet Revolution book. Surrounded by the aroma of rock shrimp sizzling in a pan of garlic oil, Vincent, the cook cum butler, This chopping anodized basil and red pepper with all the panache and proficiency of one who has prepared the dishes so often that he no longer needs to consult the high-fat, low-carbohydrate recipes devised by Dr. Atkins. At the head of the dining table, Veronica Atkins, svelte, in an emerald green shirt and black trousers, beckons her guests to begin. You notice how less... This is the Telegraph, right? If you look at the Telegraph's articles now, it's like... Check out Beyonce's new super lit ass implants. Like, this is they actually used to use almost pros. They used to have almost legitimate writers on this stuff. So, I shouldn't be telling you this. Russian-born Atkins whispers huskily in a slightly Slavic accent. I really should not be telling you this. I know I shouldn't, she says. Mrs. Atkins, widow of Dr. Robert Atkins, whose diet books have been bought by 40 million worldwide, says, let me show you, she says, rising from the table to root around the kitchen cabinet stuffed with minerals, vitamins, and Dr. Atkins supplements. This, she says triumphantly, returning to the table with a bottle of pills that look exactly like cod liver tablets, is the secret weapon. On the bottle is the word phosphatidylserine. All right, there you go. It's a tongue twister. Phosphatidylserine. Under a blue and white Atkins Nutritional label, the company is one of the scores of spin-offs generated by the success of the Atkins diet, which Atkins sold off. Wonderful things. The KGB used them during the Cold War, you know. Their agents took 2 of these before meetings, drank bottles and bottles of vodka, and while the other person was sozzled and revealed all, they were utterly sober. So that's interesting. All right, so anyways, let's get to the meat of it. Let's get to the meat of it. I'm listless after Bobby's death. Bob Atkins. I have to be forced to go out to socialize. Left to myself, I would just stay home. It saddens her that he died. He fell and hit his head. Let's get to the actual death. There were accusations that the diet could lead to kidney and liver failure, but it wasn't just members of the medical profession who were angered by Atkins. The low-fat diet industry, worth an estimated $20 billion, had much to fear from his new radical approach. $20 billion industry telling you to eat less fat and move more. Recipe for disaster. And this is years ago. So, since Robert Atkins slipped on an icy New York pavement last year, fell into a coma, and then died. That's how he died. He slipped on icy pavement, hit his head, fell into a coma, and died. He refused life support, and he died. Veronica Atkins is not in a forgiving mood. Where her late husband is concerned, Mrs. Atkins sticks to a fiercely loyal script. He was not, she insists, obese when he died, as has been claimed. He did not try to conceal a heart condition. I remind her that on April 18, 2002, after a breakfast of bacon, sausages, and eggs, Dr. Atkins' heart stopped and he collapsed in his Manhattan apartment. He was rushed to the hospital where he was diagnosed as having suffered a heart attack. The news thrilled Atkins' critics in the low-fat diet industry, where it is axiomatic that fatty diets cause heart failure. Mrs. Atkins looks utterly blank when I ask about the incident. What's happened a year before his death? Ah, yes, there was something about that, she says vaguely. He claimed it was a heart infection. I prompted, was it? She replies, I can't remember. Ooh. I will vindicate Bobby and they will all end up with egg in their faces. All these Me Too people who have tagged on to his coattails since. The copycats that sit on his shoulders, stealing his ideas. This woman's got to sit down, and these people are just like, didn't your husband have a heart attack? So it sounds like maybe he did have he had a cardiac event, but that's not what killed him. That's not what killed him. All right, so there's more damaging allegations to come. When her husband's medical records indicating that he weighed more than 18 stone and was suffering from heart disease were released by the New York Medical Examiner's Office, allegedly in error, she threatened to sue. So these people leaked his medical information against the will of the family and are constantly misrepresenting this dead guy. Their actions didn't surprise me. After all, Bobby was the antichrist of vegetarians. To me, all they were doing was perverting the truth in an attempt to destroy the reputation and great work of my late husband. So, let's see here. There's the good parts down below here. Good parts down below here. Here's the super chat. Let me read the super chat. 10. What's it say? Tanks? I like to pie. What's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate the donation. Keep up the good work. And I'm about to go to bed. Keep reading. It's like a nice bedtime story.
Aw.
So, all these people obsessively trying to tarnish Dr. Atkins' name. Let's find. Here's another article from Scientific American. Oh, no, I'm sorry. NBC News. In an interview with an associate of Dr. Atkins, Dr. Traeger, who insists vegetarians were trying to destroy Atkins' reputation to promote their own agenda. He says it's a group of people who compare eating cheese to heroin, feeding children meat to child abuse. They don't think anyone should eat animal products, and it's clear they'll go to any extreme, including giving out records, breaking ethical violations, to try to convince people. But the release of only limited details have made Dr. Atkins' health the subject of a very public and intense debate. The medical examiner's report is not an autopsy, it's a coroner's description of what the outside of Atkins' body looked like at the time of death. Atkins' opponents say the report proves he was in poor health when he died. Mrs. Atkins says it wasn't the case at all. Veronica Atkins says, my husband's weight was never 258 pounds. In his whole life, it was not 258. This is what they claim. He was 258, he died of heart disease. He slipped and hit his head. He was in a coma, and he refused. All right, it's crazy how these people will willingly misrepresent and shit on a dead guy. Right, like if I were to get in a car accident, they'd say he had a heart attack before he had died in a car accident. They'd say he died of a heart attack because his heart stopped, and that's why he careened off the mountain. Atkins' widow insisted that the weight on the leaked medical examiner's report was the result of fluids pumped into him during 9 days of intensive care as his life slipped away, a claim supported by numerous independent doctors we spoke with. Mrs. Atkins says she remembers this unnatural swelling all too well. My husband was so bloated, he had very slender hands, and when he was in his bed, his hands were like ham hocks, this big. He was bloated. He did look like a balloon. And Dr. Atkins' hospital admissions form seemed to back her up. It shows that he was a technically overweight but not obese 195. That was also borne out by Dateline's visit with Dr. Atkins 6 weeks before the fall that killed him. He was an active 72-year-old, big but not bloated, and hardly obese. What we could not see was the health of his heart. Doctors who treated Atkins told Dateline that they knew of no hypertension or heart attack, but they confirmed that Dr. Atkins' heart was weak. His congestive heart failure, I guess that's the thing that happened like a year before, was a complication of a cardiac arrest he suffered in 2002. His coronary arteries also had problems requiring treatment, even though Atkins' doctor described them a year before his death as normal. Interesting. Dr. Patrick Fratellone treated Dr. Atkins 99 in 2002 and also worked with the doctor on the Atkins Center. He says Atkins suffered from cardiomyopathy, a chronic heart weakness. But this condition, he says, was caused by a virus, not his diet. Okay. So, there's the other side of the story. So they say he was obese. He was a 72-year-old dude, and he weighed, 195? How tall was he? 6 foot? I think he was like 6 foot. Maybe 6'1". So not a huge, he wasn't jacked. So 195 at 6'1". Maybe was a little overweight there at 72 years old. Dr. Atkins, living the good life. The man slipped on the ice and had a head injury, so he died. Don't blame his diet, said Dr. Fratellone. So there you go. That's the other side of the story. And Dr. Dean Ornish just says, no, this dude died of a heart attack. So let's jump forward a little bit here. And we'll just watch from here.
That says it all right there, But in this new book, I'm saying, look, I'm done with all these diet wars. You can go around in circles and round and round and round and round. We've been doing this work for 40 years. Every disease we study, every mechanism we look at gets better. We were able to show we can reverse heart disease, diabetes, early stage prostate cancer, by extension breast cancer, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, obesity, and we're now doing the first randomized trial to see if we can reverse Alzheimer's disease, which I think is going to work. And
guarantee that's not going to work. The reversal of Alzheimer's disease, don't think that's going to happen. If you want to learn a little bit about Alzheimer's disease, very, very interesting woman to check out is Amy Berger, Berger. Amy Berger. She does a really good job. She actually has a book about Alzheimer's and the use of high-fat, low-carbohydrate diet, ketogenic diets, the things that Ornish despises. Right? Like a vulture, just swooping around dead Dr. Atkins, spreading rumors about the poor dead dude, whose official cause of death, was not a heart attack. He did not have a heart attack, but did have a condition called cardiomyopathy, serious progression condition caused by a viral infection. Though this condition weakened his heart, its cause was clearly related to an infection and not his diet. In fact, just the year before that, his personal physician and cardiologist said, "We have been treating this condition, cardiomyopathy, for almost 2 years. Clearly, his own nutritional protocols has left him at the age of 71 with an extraordinarily healthy cardiovascular system." So he died at 195, went into the hospital, got pumped and bloated, pumped full of whatever in the hospital. He was just under 6 foot tall. Okay. That's what I was looking for there. So just under 6 foot. Not an obese guy. I don't know. I'm a little bit too young to know much about Dr. Atkins, but this is kind of an interesting history. Dean Ornish, he's a boomer. He's been around for a while. Or maybe he's like post-boomer. Whatever's between boomers and Gen Xers. Limbo zoners. Let's listen to him again.
So the message that we're giving to readers is to say, look, it works. Okay, the more diseases we study, the more mechanisms we look at, the more reasons we have to explain why it works. Taken as a whole. Now, we can parse out how many angels dance on the head of a pin, what the relative contribution of each component is. But the fact is that the only side effects of each of these things are good ones. And they work, And so we're basically saying, look, here's what we did, here's what we found, and did this fantastic section of the book on here's how you can do it. And boom, that's it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But if you want to do it, this has more science behind it than anything.
Well, back to what you were saying, yes, the intervention has remained the same over the last 40 years, and that says a lot in itself with all the other fads that come and go. But what has evolved are those mechanisms and additional diseases that we've been able to study that have been basically reversed.
That's Dean Ornish's wife right there. She looks like an interesting woman, right? She looks like every boomer that lives in Sedona.
With our same lifestyle intervention. So I think that it's just a mounting case of evidence.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the book, but I think it would be worthwhile for people that are listening or watching who are coming into this new and unfamiliar with both of you to track it back to the beginning. Like, how did you get involved in this field to begin with? Like, what made you interested in lifestyle medicine? Like, what was the path that led you to this place?
Oh, gosh. Long, long ago in a galaxy far, far away. In a log cabin in Kentucky. No, that was a different lifetime.
We could talk about different lifetimes, too. We're going to talk about your guru.
We're trying to build our credibility here. I personally got interested in this when I was a freshman in college at Rice University in Houston and almost killed myself. I was so profoundly and suicidally depressed. And there's an old saying that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And there was an ecumenical teacher named Swami Satchidananda who came into our home in Dallas and changed my life. And it's a longer story, but I found I could take all the meaning out of life. I could, who cares, so what, nothing matters, big deal, why bother, nothing matters. And I felt like I was really stupid and that I was, I somehow managed to fool the admissions committee into letting me in. And now that I was with a bunch of really smart kids, it was just a matter of time before they figured out what a mistake they'd made in letting me in. But beyond that, I felt like nothing can bring lasting happiness. I had this kind of spiritual vision that was more than I could handle at the time. And so the combination of feeling like I was never going to mount anything because I was stupid, and even if I did, it wouldn't matter anyway. Like I thought, well, what if I had really a lot of money or a lot of power or fame or, whatever, that would do it. And I knew that it wouldn't. And so I was ready to do myself in. So my parents had this cocktail party for the Swami. This was back in 1972 because he really helped my older sister. And in walks...
His parents had a cocktail party for the Swami. His parents had a cocktail party for Swami Satchidananda. He's the Woodstock guru. Check out this guy. He introduced Woodstock. Look at that. It's like the quintessential. I mean, it's like a mellow Osho. Interesting though. So this is his guru, Swami Satchidananda.
Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Dean Ornish, and I'm deeply honored to be able to give this video tribute to Sri Swami Satchidananda on the occasion of his 100th birthday. You know, all of my work is based on what I learned from him. We were able to show, beginning in 1977, for the first time that even severe heart disease could actually be reversed by making what we call comprehensive lifestyle changes. You know, when I did my first study, I called it the effects of a vegetarian diet and yoga on heart disease, and the cardiologist said, you know, we're going to have a hard time referring patients to you. What are we going to say? We're referring them to the Swami? So we called it the effects of stress management training and dietary changes and so on. And one of the things that I learned from Swamiji is that when in Rome, you know, act like the Roman. You know, the language becomes important when you're trying to build bridges.
By build bridges, you mean sell you bullshit. The language becomes important. The language becomes important when you're trying to sell people on a diet, when you're trying to sell people on a lifestyle. And so he talks about the joy of living. This diet's going to give you the joy of living, not the fear of death. Come, hook yourself up to the e-meter. Tell me about your morning. Dr. Ornish.
This kind of central casting's view of an idea of what a Swami should look
Right.
like, you know, long white beard and saffron robes, the whole thing. And he gave a satsang, a lecture in our living room, and he started out by saying, nothing can bring you lasting happiness, which I'd already figured out, except I was about ready to do myself in, and he was glowing. I was like, what am I missing here? He went on to say, so it probably sounds like a New Age cliche, which was that nothing can bring that to you, but we have it already if we just stop disturbing it. And that in the great irony of life, that we run after all these things. If only I had more whatever, then I'd be happy. And then until you get it, you're not happy. If someone else gets it, then you're really not happy. And even if you get it, it's great for a little while, but then it's either now what, it's never enough, or so what, big deal. So I said, okay, I move killing myself down to plan B. And so let me try this weird stuff. So part of what he said was eat a plant-based diet, meditate, exercise, you know, have more love in your life. Ultimately, he gave me this program. This lifestyle program really came from him.
That's amazing.
You know, and I thought...
Hold on a second. All right, so...
I am Sri Guru Swami Yangandaninchi. And if you stop searching for what you desire, your desires will come to you. If you simply relinquish the grasping, the clasping, and the seeking for happiness, you will find that the happiness is right inside of you. It's like every Eastern guru's message, right? Interesting character, this Swami. So he helped build the Light of Truth Universal Shrine. He also is an interfaith visionary promoted by the UN. Of course, check out his, he's got press, media, teachings, life. Even as a young boy, Swami Satchidananda could not understand why people were divided because of caste and religion. Even though Swami Satchidananda grew up as an upper class, basically the Brahmin class, right? Like his father was a landowner. He was an importer of automobiles, and then he became what did they call him? A house, what was it, a home? Where's his biography go? He was a homekeeper. I am a keeper of my father's palace. So much suffering happening. I smoke opium and hashish and listen to sitar all day. I go to Woodstock, watch American titty flop in mud, hump in giant pile of white flesh. It truly was amazing and enlightening. The Woodstock guru. Look at this guy. Look at that. This guy gave the opening statements at Woodstock. Definitely trust him, right? Definitely should be trusted. So this is his press packet. Check this shit out. His press packet. Media kit. Look at that. His interfaith symbols. That's a cool pyramid with an eye on the top of it. So Freemasons are allowed. Islam. Fake Christians. There's the Om symbol with a circle on the top, connecting all of them. Look at this. Just beautiful. Swami Satchidananda. Let all our actions and all our arts express yoga. Through that sacred art of music, let us find peace that will pervade all over the globe. Let us not fight for peace, but let us find peace within ourselves first. The future of the whole world is in your hands. Sneeze. Whew, excuse me. So I guess that's his claim to fame. He led 500,000 American youth in chanting Om when he delivered the official opening remarks at the 1969 Woodstock Music and Art Festival and became known as the Woodstock Guru. Wait, 500,000? Are you talking about... There weren't 500,000 people at Woodstock. That's 500,000. The distinctive teachings that he brought with him blend the physical discipline of yoga, the spiritual philosophy of India, and the interfaith ideals he pioneered. So it's exactly the UN, Rockefeller, ecumenical. All the religions are exactly the same. Put brain chip in your head, and you will all go into the cloud and live forever. And we save the planet from the global warming. All of the religions are exactly the same. Satanism, Christianity, Buddhism, Islam, they are all the same. And we will celebrate all of them in the UN Cultural Center for Interfaith Communications. Interfaith visionary. He organized numerous interfaith programs, retreats, and conferences. Built the Light of Truth Universal Shrine, the world's first interfaith shrine to contain altars to the major world faiths. Fascinating. So there's the Lotus Center. This is Swami Satchidananda. Those people are funny. I want a gif of this chick. That chick looks at Swami Satchidananda just like Mick the Vegan looks at Dr. Greger. I just want somebody to look at me like Mike the Vegan looks at Dr. Greger.
Why is it so hard to do what I know I must do? Because you picked up a hard thing.
Oh.
You want to do something special, something elevating, something lifting up. It's hard. Always hard to lift up something.
It is always hard to lift up something that is heavy and hard. And the reason you have come here and incarnated is so that you could lift it up. But if you silence your mind and open your wallet, you will find inner peace. Please write down your mother's social security number and bank account number and credit card number and put in my hat, and I will lift the burden of suffering from you forever and ever.
Elevate yourself. To throw it out, to drop it down, is easy. So hard things are always good. And good things are always hard.
The hard things are always good, and the good things are always hard. Will all females under age of 35 please form a single file line, and I will show you something very hard that is also very good. Behind the veil here.
Be patient. And if you really know the importance of it and the need for it, it even doesn't become hard anymore. Things become hard when you don't understand why you are doing, what the benefit is. Then you say, half-hearted, I don't know why I'm doing, I'm just doing. Then it becomes very hard. If you know that you are really going to have a good, nice baby, don't you even go look for a hard time in having a little pain in delivering the baby? No pain, no gain.
Damn. I hope the CIA gave the people in the crowd a lot of acid to really help that sink in. Back to Dean Ornish's wife. Why does Dean Ornish's wife look like she is like a certified Reiki master that works on horses? Dean Ornish's wife just got done doing a Reiki treatment on Rich Roll's horse, and she helped cure it and clear it of its birth trauma.
Parents?
Oh,
or,
no.
I mean, how
Au
do you like? How,
contraire.
and this is in like Houston. Where, are you in Dallas? Where
I was in Dallas.
You're in
yeah.
Dallas, right? So, how did first of all, like, how do your parents even know, like, how to get Satchidananda to come to your house? Like, how does,
Well,
like,
he really, my older sister was kind of a child of the 60s, and it really helped her a lot. So when he came to Dallas to give a lecture, she let them know he was in town. So they decided to have a cocktail party for him. You can imagine how weird that was in Dallas in 1972.
Yeah, I can. I'm like, this is not, it's not Topanga Canyon, right?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be weird to...
This guy was just groomed, right? He was groomed from a young age, basically. Who were his parents? His parents must have been some oil tycoons. I don't have the time to do research on Dr. Ornish. I don't care that much. But if somebody knows who his parents were and what his father did, that'd be very interesting. Why are they having Swami Satchidananda, this fake Indian propaganda guru, this like UN messenger, propaganda guru, who opened Woodstock? How are they having this dude at their house? That's strange.
Day in Dallas, but it was especially weird back then. So,
and you're like an 18-year-old kid?
Yeah, I was 18 years old. And I said, okay, so I want to do this. I couldn't even sit still long enough to meditate. So he taught me how to do a walking meditation. So I changed my diet, radically changed my diet from eating chilies and cheeseburgers and chalupas and all kinds of meat 5 times a day to eating a plant-based diet and trying to meditate as best I could. And I began to get little glimpses of what it meant to be happy. And the whole message that he has, which I think is so profound, and in my limited experiences, where healing occurs at its deepest levels, is that our whole culture teaches us that our happiness and our health we get from outside of ourselves. And then it becomes, okay, how do I get all this stuff that's going to make me happy? Mm-hmm. And again, if only I had more blank, more money, more power, more beauty, more sex, more accomplishment, whatever you fill in the blank, then I'd be happy.
Yeah. So isn't it funny how the self-help thing? So first they introduced all these swamis, and they had what was it, Yogananda or whatever, Krishnamurti, Satchidananda, all these weird guys, even Osho. You have all these guys preaching the same message, preaching the same weird message, the same self-help message, the same just basic psychological trick, the same meditation techniques, all pushing yoga. And then you have all the self-help gurus in the 80s, right? The Tony Robbins types, the think and get rich, think and grow rich. Basically taking the same message and just applying it, westernizing it. I'm going to do a stream on a document called The Changing Images of Man. It's a book. Actually, Joseph Campbell helped to write this. This is a book from the Stanford Research Institute. So it's essentially like a high-level think tank of New Age gurus talking about how are we going to form society and rework man's image of himself, the changing images of man. Of course, you know, that man being made in the image of God, man made in the image of God. If we're going to change how man sees himself, what are we really doing? This is what these people are talking about doing. Man made in the image of God. Let's change what man thinks about who he is, where he comes from. And a lot of these ideas that we see being expressed by guys like Dr. Dean Ornish and later on the self-help, meditate yourself to physical enlightenment, meditate yourself into being rich, visualize it, visualize the process. They take these basic psychological truths, pervert them, and turn them into basically idol worship. So really interesting. We're going to talk about the changing images of man, Stanford Research Institute's document from the 1970s, where they're talking about creating this ecological consciousness where everybody could just be basically plugged into the same hive mind. And how are we going to get everybody to understand the global problems, all these global problems that need the global solutions, so we can ultimately have a single global system? I'm going to talk about that one. But first, on Saturday, I got Jay Dyer coming on. We're going to talk about the Club of Rome's first global revolution. And we're going to be reading some passages from that, talking about its effects, its historical context, the philosophical context as well, since Jay's very well versed in philosophy. That's going to be a fun stream. So make sure to check out Jay Dyer's channel as well, over there at Jay Dyer on YouTube. So that's going to be fun. Saturday, and then we'll do another one next week. Let me see. Got a super chat. Zach. What's up, Zach? Says Ellen G. White can be argued to be the mother of veganism. It's time she was revealed for what she was, a charlatan. Charlatan. All right. So Ellen G. White, yes. Ellen G. White would go into epileptic fits and have visions. And these spirits would tell her all the visions. They would give her all these visions. They would tell her exactly what to say, what to do. She did not eat a vegan diet. She regularly ate animal foods, shellfish, and fish. And Seventh-day Adventists are very, very influential in modern dietary policy globally. There's a lot of connections there to the eugenics movements, the guys like Kellogg, who had the sanitarium that Henry Ford and not David Rockefeller, but Rockefeller used to go to. Very, very interesting. So that is going to be pretty cool. I think I'm done with Dean Ornish. I like how he name drops Bill Clinton, as if Bill Clinton is somebody that we want to. As if Bill Clinton is someone that shows like what great results you can get from a vegan diet, from a plant-based diet. Bill Clinton, who's been showing really intense signs of dementia, showed worse dementia than Poppy Bush. Way worse dementia than Poppy Bush, his mentor, and the guy who was president before him, and then whose son was president after Bill Clinton. Poppy Bush had less dementia than Bill Clinton did when he actually passed away, which I think is pretty funny. I mean, it's not funny. It's always kind of sad seeing people suffer, right, with dementia, and seeing the families suffer. But really crazy that these people are gonna buy into Bill and Hillary Clinton being just prime examples of vegan vitality and health. I was trying to find this photo. It's hard to find some of these goofy photos of Bill Clinton, but Lil Cheetah had it. Charles Marlowe had it on his Instagram, so I used that one. Biographer: Bill's physical mental capacity has deteriorated. Heart problems. His hands shake when he gets tired. Fumbles his words. Made several verbal slips that have hurt his wife's effort. So they blamed Bill for. They should have kept Bill out of the public when Hillary was campaigning if they really wanted to win that. Everyone, don't forget about Mena, Arkansas. Oliver North, Mena, Arkansas, Iran-Contra, importing drugs to the United States at the airstrip while he was governor. Poppy Bush, Oliver North, sending in the drugs, sending weapons out, doing little trades, just on the down low. It's all good. It's like for reasons of national security or whatever, dude. It's all good. It's all good. Allegations that the CIA and Department of Justice were complicit in the flow of cocaine in South Central L.A. The Clintons were partnered with George H.W. Bush and Oliver North through the offices of the National Security Council in a little Iran-Contra arms and cocaine trafficking operation in Mena, Arkansas. It's funny, I don't know why this book is on CIA.gov's website. It's interesting. Clinton White House was den of coke mistresses, ex-Secret Service officer. Obviously, these people are lying. The Clintons are really nice people. Like, people try and discredit them by showing, pictures where they're totally taken out of context. But yeah, I don't know. Vegan diet. This is what Dean Ornish can do for you. Check out Bill Clinton. Carnival's in the chat. What's up, man? How you doing, Carnival? Carnival. So, everybody, how many of you actually got notified? How many of you are subscribed or thought you were subscribed, but now you were not subscribed, and YouTube didn't tell you that you weren't subscribed anymore? Let me know. Let me know in the chat, because I find it kind of interesting. It seems like it's half and half. It seems like about half the people got notified, maybe more than half. Shell was notified. That's nice. We had several people saying that they went to check and they were unsubscribed and they had never unsubscribed. And other people that the bell was unclicked. No notification, says Tanny. Jing says, me too. 2 people were notified. Radical Greek wasn't notified. This is strange. It's very, very strange. All right. Syndalus says that he got unsubbed. That he didn't do the unsubbing. Well, I'm sorry, guys. Make sure to hit that bell. Hey, like it, share it. I see 100 people watching, and 100 people haven't liked it yet. Maybe YouTube will go ahead and sanitize those likes, though, too. All right, we're going to move on. Let's transition. Swipe. All right. Well, Swami Satchidananda, interesting character. Dr. Dean Ornish pushing that new age crap. Pushing a 4 grams of fat a day diet, which I think is just criminally low. It's so low. It's so low in fat. I can't believe it. Let me readjust this, the size of this. Come over here to the chat, see what's going on here. You guys got any super chats? Anything you wanted me to hit on? If not, we're going to move on to the next segment. Little reminder, the Keto and Carnivore Collective for July starts on July 7th. It's our group community coaching. We do 2 live interactive voice chats per week. You get 2 meetings per week. You guys can ask whatever questions you want during that. But our goal is to basically equip you with the tools that you need to do it long term. All right, so if you're interested in fixing up, a lot of people that come to it are, some of the people who've come to us have been doing it for years, and they just want to figure out what it is that that's keeping them from getting the results they want, whether you're just starting keto or carnivore, or if you're a keto and carnivore vet of several months and you've hit a stall and you're trying to figure out what's going on. Feel free to hit us up for the live community coaching. The course is going to start on the 7th of July. It's going to be a fun one. We took a month off. We needed a break from it. So sorry to everybody who wanted one in June. We know quite a few people. A lot of people from the last one, several people from the last one wanted to come on to the next Keto and Carnivore Collective just because some people really like the community aspect of it and the support that they get in the community. So we use a live Discord server. Pretty damn fun, if you ask me. We have a lot of fun with it. 2 meetings per week. Teach you how to formulate your diet and how to do it long term. And we go deeper than just diet. We get into circadian rhythm optimization and other lifestyle factors. and it's a lot of fun. Another announcement, make sure to check out, let's see. Make sure to check out, where is it? There. I didn't have my mic on that slide. So anyways, that was just a picture of the Carnivore Cookbook for people who really love animals. You want to support the channel and you want to learn how to prepare nutrient-dense animal foods, nose to tail, right? Using all of the animal, which is how we've always been teaching it here. It is one of the most awesome carnivore resources you're going to find out there. The Carnivore Cookbook for people who really love animals by Jessica, who's typing away next to me.
Yo.
I haven't made her laugh in like an hour. The streams just must be, stream's tanking. But yeah, Jessica did a really good job on the Carnivore Cookbook. Make sure to check that out. There's a link in the description. Also, we've got a free members area on the website that we are launching. We're going to be doing, we're going to be kind of transitioning some of the way that we do our content here. We're going to be doing a lot more members stuff because, you know, YouTube doesn't like to share these videos. YouTube doesn't like to notify our audience. And we're getting kind of slammed with these algorithmic changes after the recent ad apocalypse. Apparently, we've been naughty, and the AI knows it. So, yep, we're always welcoming new ways of getting out information, new ways of sharing it. And so we're going to be doing a lot of stuff in the free members area. And then we're going to be transitioning pretty soon. We're going to have a different tier. We might just do one tier or two tiers in the members area where some of it will be paid. We're going to have exclusive content. So it's a way that we can put some of the deeper stuff so it doesn't get flagged and removed from YouTube, demonetized, delisted, and it's a way that we'll be able to share information freely and no pun intended, obviously, and do it in a community setting as well. So we're going to be kind of actually transferring a lot of the information that we share in the community coaching course. We're going to be creating some courses that people have exclusive access to. We're going to have exclusive Q&As, like live videos, streams that we do just for members, where we go deep into helping you out in your own individual context as well. And so we're kind of ironing out the details on that. That's really excited. But for now, you can sign up for the free members area. We've got, in the members area now, we've got some really cool content already. We've got a low oxalate and high oxalate food list talking about, or basically listing, a lot of the foods that you would want to avoid if you find you may have a sensitivity to oxalate. So a lot of people have been eating a plant-based diet for long term. A lot of people have been doing the stupid-ass low-fat Dean Ornish diet or the Dr. Greger daily dozen bowel movements diet, find that their gut is thrashed, that they have a hard time digesting foods, and oxalate can be a major issue for a lot of people, so we got those lists up in there. If you do want private coaching, we still do that, but not as frequently, so we're kind of limited on space for private coaching, but there is a link in the coaching section, which is linked in the description of this video. We also got some tanks and hoodies as well. Actually, we got a really cool new shirt, which I don't even have my hands on it yet, but it's the Steaks Over Cake shirt. You can see it right there. There it is. There's a black one. There's a white one. Steaks Over Cake shirt. Boom. They're actually really beautiful. It makes me hungry just looking at that shirt. I gotta close that. I'm getting hungry. So yeah, check out the website, primaledgehealth.com, and we always appreciate all your support. Thank you to everybody who's been donating via PayPal as well. We don't use Patreon. I freaking hate Patreon. And yeah, so we're not up on Patreon. We're not into that, but we are creating our own member section of the site where we're going to have courses and exclusive live content and exclusive content every month. It's going to be really cool. But also, if you just want to support, and you don't need coaching, and you don't need help, and you don't need t-shirts, and you don't need books, feel free to donate via PayPal. Primal Edge Health, paypal.me/Primal Edge Health. And let's move on. The New York Times came out with an amazing article today. 2 days ago, actually, now. 2 days ago. And this is, hold on to your pants, millennials. Hold on to your pants, millennials. This is going to be lit. This is going to be lit AF. It's going to be lit autofocus, guys. Should you add a microchip to your brain? The New York Times, should you add a microchip to your brain? You might risk losing yourself. So last night we talked all about transhumanism, how this ties in with diet. A lot of these people talking about the transhumanist movement, talking about diet as one of the major steps towards transhumanism. Of course, the New York Times also releasing this the next day on June 11th. The world is a mess. We need fully automated luxury communism, asteroid mining, gene editing, synthetic meat. We could provide for the needs of everyone in style. It just takes some imagination. Imagination. Come with me and you'll see. Da, 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 da. I will brainwash you with implanted imaginations. The movies you watched as a kid all prepared you for the new world order where you will be chipped, but you'll feel a sense of bliss and rapture 'cause we'll feed you dopamine, don't you know it? Yes, we'll give you VR porn till you blow it all over your VR goggles and have to have a midget wipe it off. Then you will go and get your microchip. Okay. That's it. It starts with a burger. In 2008, a Dutch professor named Mark Post presented the proof of concept for what he called cultured meat. 5 years later, in a London TV studio, Mr. Post and his colleagues ate a burger they had grown from animal cells in a laboratory. Secretly funded by Sergey Brin, co-founder of Google, the journey from petri dish to plate had cost $325,000. Whoa, dude, that's more than Pauly Shore made on his last movie. Yeah, making theirs the most expensive meal in history. Fortunately, the results were promising. Hanny Rutzler, a nutrition scientist, concluded that the patty was close to meat but not as juicy. The next question was whether this breakthrough would make it cheaper. Much cheaper. These are the articles that we're seeing just the last few days. People don't think that this is actually going to come into fruition, but they don't realize that you're being brainwashed right now to accept fake lab-grown meat. They call it cultured meat. And by cultured meat, they don't mean high meat. They don't mean taking some meat and fermenting it. They mean Sergey Brin is going to give you Google meat. And of course, you can trust Google. I mean, they work really closely with DARPA. They work really closely with the Pentagon. Really, really heavily involved in all these color revolutions worldwide. So, yeah, we could trust them. We could for sure trust them. But check this one out. This one's even better. Should you add a microchip to your brain? You might risk losing yourself. Editor's note, this is the third installment in the series, Op-Eds from the Future, in which science fiction authors, futurists, and philosophers and scientists. So this is, futurists. They must be so smart. This is just how they brainwash people. Right? I mean, ever since the 1920s, we talked about Lord Birkenhead's article where he was saying the same thing. You're going to eat lab-grown meat. He told you this in 1929. All of your biological needs are going to be met technologically. We're going to give you eternal life. You're going to travel to the stars. You're going to do all this. You're not going to have to work. It's going to be so easy. And now we got the New York Times. 100 years later, they're ready. Right? Lord Birkenhead said in 2029, said in 100 years, this is going to come to fruition. It's 2019. In 10 years, it looks like these guys are right on track. New York Times, we need full automated luxury communism, asteroid mining, gene editing, synthetic meat. We're going to give you everything. You're going to live forever. But check this one out. As artificial intelligence creates large-scale unemployment, some professionals are attempting to maintain intellectual parity by adding microchips to their brain. Even aside from career worries, it's not difficult to understand the appeal of merging with AI. After all, if enhancement leads to superintelligence and extreme longevity, isn't it better than the alternative, the inevitable degeneration of the brain and body? So just like they sell you on the vegan diet with the snake oil message of you're going to live forever, you're not going to die, and you're going to live joyfully with no suffering, they're doing the same thing. Don't you want to get rid of the inevitable degeneration of the brain and body? Well, then give up your body, and we'll tell you we're going to upload your consciousness into the Google Drive. Yeah. All right, at the Center for Mind Design in Manhattan, customers will soon be able to choose from a variety of brain enhancements. Human Calculator promises to give you savant-level mathematical abilities. Zen Garden can make you calmer and more efficient. It is also rumored that if clinical trials go as planned, customers will soon be able to purchase an enhancement bundle called Merge, a series of enhancements allowing customers to gradually augment and transfer all their mental functions to the cloud over a period of 5 years. Unfortunately, these brain chips may fail to do their job for two philosophical reasons. The first involves the nature of consciousness. Oh yeah, we don't know what consciousness is, and it's not physical, and we have no idea how to upload it into a cloud, and we can't separate it from the body, and we have no idea what the fuck we're talking about or what we're doing. But we'll sell you on it. Wait, this is fiction, all right, just so you know. This is an opinion piece. It's a work of fiction. This is how you socially engineer people too, though, with fiction. This is why you're always seeing the same stuff, the same AI centrally controlled Blade Runner type society in all these films, like the newly revamped Blade Runner 2049, where people are modifying themselves with brain chips. The elites are so highly modified, the supposed elite are so highly modified. Jared Leto's character, who's this Luciferian satanic character, completely modified. You don't even know how much is human left, right? It's a funny article. I suggest you guys read it. We're not going to read the whole thing here, but we've got another one from just a few weeks ago. A chip in my hand unlocks my house. Why does that scare people? Implant technology can change the world unless politicians give in to the hysteria against it. You hear that, guys? If you get microchipped, it's going to be so awesome. But these stupid-ass Luddites who hate science, they want to stop it. And they're trying to get politicians to stop this stuff. Like, we're trying to give you immortality. We're trying to microchip you and give you immortality. And these Luddites are screwing it up for everybody. They're screwing it up for us all. Implant technology can change the world unless politicians give in to the hysteria against it. Over the past few decades, microchip implant technology has moved from science fiction to reality. Today, hundreds of thousands of people around the world have chips or electronic transmitters inside them. Hundreds of thousands, they say. Who are these hundreds of thousands of people who've already been microchipped? Who are these? I mean, I remember seeing the Verichip thing that the Freemasons, legitimately, the Freemasonry was promoting microchipping children for safety, right? So that the stranger danger doesn't get them. You put a little microchip in Jimmy, and if the strangers take him, we're going to get him. We're going to get that kid. We're getting him back. We already microchip our dogs. Over the past few decades, this tech has moved from science fiction to reality. Well, what do you mean the last few decades? This has been around for like 70 years. This is from 1965. And this is what's public and on record. We haven't seen all the declassified Jose Delgado work. So if you don't know about Jose Delgado, he wrote a book called Physical Control of the Mind. Did many experiments on physical control of the mind, implanting electrodes into primates' brains. Of course, Jose Delgado also saw you as just primates. And he implanted human beings as well with electrodes and did experiments as well. Interesting stuff. So Jose Delgado. Let's take a look at this.
Electronic mind control research is not new. A scientific milestone in this area came in the 1960s when Dr. Jose Delgado demonstrated remote control over a charging bull. By connecting a radio antenna to electrodes inserted into the bull's brain, Delgado proved that the animal's aggressive impulses could be thwarted
Look at that.
by electronically manipulating the bull's muscle reflexes.
Stops it right before it goes through.
Realize the fantastic possibilities. If from the outside we could modify the inside, could we give messages to the inside? But the beauty is that now we are not using electrodes.
In recent years, Delgado has shown that the behavior of monkeys can be altered using low-power, pulsating magnetic fields. But in these experiments, there were no antenna implants.
Any function in the brain, emotions, intellect, personality, well, could be perhaps modified by this non-invasive technology.
Non-invasive technology. We just modify the organism. Any function. We make the people piss. We make the people shit. We make the people have erection. We just push button. We just modify frequency. It change frequency. It change behavior. The people, they're soulless. They're just monkeys.
Any function in the brain, emotions, intellect, personality, well, could be perhaps modified by this non-invasive technology.
Delgado's research has so far been limited to animals. But in the Soviet Union, a radio frequency, or RF device, has been used for over 30 years to manipulate the moods of mental patients.
Okay, so maybe that was my mistake. Perhaps Jose Delgado did not do experiments on humans with electrodes, but during the same projects, there were MK Ultra sub-projects where people were being tested on with electrodes, humans. And you can get into some of this information if you watch Aaron and Melissa's documentary on Truth Stream Media, The Minds of Men. Very interesting stuff. But, I mean, that's just some of what's possible. And you don't even need chips. You're just saying you do this remotely through pulsed electromagnetic fields. I can't wait for 5G. All right, the market for non-medical implant technology is virtually unregulated, despite the fact that thousands of people around the world got chipped in the past 12 months. That may be about to change. Over the past few years, calls to heavily regulate or even ban voluntary implants have grown increasingly loud. There's also a place for regulating implants like any technology, but also a need to separate the fear from the reality. This is the best part here. This is where they really sell you on it. So they start out, this is amazing. Enthusiasts are doing it. They're ahead of the times. They're ahead of the curve. But those pesky politicians are trying to stop this. They're trying to regulate this, man. I'm trying to turn myself into a computer product here. I'm trying to become a full-on cyborg that could maybe perhaps even legally be patented by the companies that modified me. Just like the organisms that they're allowed to patent, the plant organisms that they are allowed to patent when they modify, perhaps humans should be patented when they're modified. Hey man, I'm here trying to transcend everything and become part of the singularity. And these dumbasses are trying to stop me, these Luddites. They hate technology, they hate science. Check it out. I was invited to get my implant in 2015 at a biohacker gathering called Grindfest in Tehachapi, California. Specifically in a garage in a dentist chair surrounded by vintage medical posters, dude. These implants, often called radio frequency ID or near field communication tags, depending on the technology involved, are about the size of a grain of rice and are installed in people in seconds via an oversized syringe. They each have a unique identification number and cost as little as $50, dude. Dude, it's just $50, bro. Most people get them injected in the tissue between their thumb and index finger. Microchipping is still a fun part of a semi-underground culture. So, dude, it's like pretty sick. It's just like this underground culture. We all like kick it in like a dentist chair in this like shady ass house in Tehachapi. We're just like dropping acid and shit, and we're like doing like meditation circles and stuff, and we're like manifesting our futures and stuff. And we all got this idea from the dude that owned the house. Like he like actually came up with this idea, like, hey, do you guys all want microchips? And we're all just like, yeah, dude, let's do it. They'll be lit. Microchips are still a fun part of a semi-underground culture, but interest is growing in more serious quarters. In 2016, the Navy asked me to consult on a study led by James P. Wisecup a retired vice admiral and director of Chief Naval Operations Strategic Studies Group, dude. One of the concerns they had was how civilian implants in sailors could affect the workings of a nuclear submarine. More recently, what is this? What is this? Such interest from the military and corporate sector has raised concerns, and not just among civil libertarians. Religious advocates have cautioned against the ethical challenges of implants. All these Luddites, right? Stupid religious people don't even want to let us turn everybody into a consumer product. Whack. It's just like, he talks about biohackers more. I can't think of many biohackers or citizens who wouldn't support a ban on involuntary chipping. Involuntary chipping's bad, but voluntary's good. Don't you want to chip your dog? You're not going to get your dog a chip? What if your dog gets lost? You know, when you travel to another country, you bring your dog to another country, they very often require it be microchipped. Microchip implants are for everyone, and while the health risks are minuscule, come on, having first of all, we know that radio frequency interferes with cells and breaks apart DNA. What are you talking about? The risks are minimal. Health risks are minuscule? Ridiculous. So health risks are minuscule. It's all good. Implants are getting smaller and smaller. Shouldn't you be able to do what you want with your bodies? Freedom, man. Freedom to get microchipped. Let's all exercise our freedoms by getting microchipped by IBM. And then we can have synthetic meat and Beyond Burgers and our New York Times promoted fully automated luxury communism. It's luxury communism. New York Times calls for fully automated luxury communism. Very, very interesting. Of course, AOC pushing this as well. Automation means more time enjoying the world we live in. More time doing nothing. More time not knowing how to do anything. More time only knowing how to do the minuscule, compartmentalized tasks that we're programmed to do. AOC thinks it's great. Wouldn't it just be so lit if everything was automatized and we just like do nothing? That'd be so sick, dude. I'm so sick of being human. Like, I gotta stand up and walk around. I gotta poo-poo. I gotta eat, dude. It would just be so cool if technology would do everything. It would just, like, lift me up and bring me to the toilet, and I'd poop, and it, like, lift me up and bring me back. Like, I'll wear my VR goggles to the toilet. I'll still be gaming or watching VR porn. Crazy, right? Crazy. Jose Delgado's physical control of the mind. So Jose Delgado, very, very interesting guy to look into. Who later said that he could do all these same things without electrodes. All right. Let's move on. We got something else to hit on here. What time is it? Oh, it's been about 2 hours already, hasn't it? It's been about 2 hours. Maybe we should start wrapping it up. Let me come over back here in the chat. See what you guys got going on. Thank you for the super chat. We got another super chat here from Avto Wow Evie. Sorry, I don't know how to read that name. It says, love your videos, man. A quick question I have is, what made you move to Ecuador, and were there any other options, and why did you leave the U.S.? That's not a quick question. That's a quick question, but it's not a quick answer. I mean, the reason we live in Ecuador, we like it. We like the style of life we have here. It's just a place that we love. We came here, we fell in love, and we moved here. We came here in 2010. Came here in 2010. Of course, if you listen to some of my vegan fans, some of my vegan stalkers, I think Durian Rider planted this seed. They'll say that I'm a fugitive. Tristan's a fugitive. He's running. He's an illegal. He's running from the government, dude. These people are pretty crazy, right? Yeah, I'm a fugitive. According to Durian Rider, I'm a fugitive, and that's why I left the U.S. Yet I publicly talk about everything I want to talk about on YouTube. Show my face on YouTube and use my real name. Tristan the Fugitive. One time Jessica showed me, she searched my name, she typed it in Google for whatever reason, and it was on a phone. It was on an iPhone, and the little thing that popped down, she put Tristan Haggard, and the top one, it said Tristan Haggard Fugitive. This is like this was during a time when I was really going at the whole vegan YouTube thing. And it was, I just thought that was really funny. A lot of these vegans they were looking for something. They're looking for something. But yeah, we came here in 2010. The reason we came to Ecuador is we wanted to come to a place where there's good weather, clean water, clean air, and good food, and where life is affordable. So this fit the criteria of what we were looking for, but we didn't know we were going to move here until we visited, right? Like we didn't decide, oh, let's move to Ecuador, and then like later on move to Ecuador. Just we came here first, we visited, and we're like, damn, this is nice. Like we want to make our lives here. So we moved out in the middle of nowhere here in Ecuador, and we like it. So let's see. I mean, what other parts of the question are there? I guess I could extrapolate a little bit on this stuff. Sunlight, right? I've always enjoyed sunbathing since I was like 18 years old. And I realized how important light was for my mood, for my health, for just my general well-being. I hate this word now. All these new agers use it. But when I realized how important sunlight was and how, simply just laying out in the sun would make me feel so much better. That was a big part of it. Sunlight year-round. Good food at a good price. At the time when we moved here, there was in the Constitution of Ecuador a ban on transgenic seeds and on GMOs, right? They were not having this, U.S. military industrial destruction of their agricultural system that gets pushed by the World Bank and IMF. Ecuador has since rescinded this, and the government are constantly changing in Latin America, notoriously corrupt. But yeah, since then, there's been a lot of GMO influx. But that was part of it. It's kind of cool. Okay, cool. They banned GMOs. Peru still keeps GMOs out. Peru still protects their country from the GMOs, but Ecuador's kind of sold out recently in certain ways. But yeah, the people, the importance of family, right? The people here, they still believe in God, even though, I'm a big critic of the Vatican, the Catholic Church. We're not Catholic. In fact, when we came here, we were kind of, we're definitely not Catholic. And, we are Orthodox. We're into Eastern Orthodoxy, so it's not ideal at this point. We actually became Orthodox after coming to Ecuador. That's a long story, but the importance of family is still pivotal here. People have multi-generational homes where the grandparents live in the home, parents live in the home, the grandchildren live in the home. Local economy is what people focus on. People are, trading goods locally, and it's just that's what we love about it. The local environment, good water, good clean air. We got they love the sport that I actually played growing up. I played soccer when I was a kid until I was 14. Then I quit because I just was depressed teenager trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Didn't want to play sports at the school because I wasn't really in the school thing, even though I got good grades and everything. I was always an honors student and all that shit. But I didn't like going to school. I didn't like being there. I thought it was bullshit. And it's kind of freaky being a millennial and going to these schools, especially after the whole Columbine thing and then the 9/11 thing happened. It's just constant terror, right? So I at that age, 14, I quit playing soccer, but got to start playing soccer again here recently. It was pretty cool. So that's, I don't know, little things like that, they add up. So yeah, that's why we like Ecuador. That's why we're here. Let's see what's going on here in the chat. What's going on here in the chat? Not seeing any super chats here. You guys fighting amongst yourselves in the chat? Someone says alpacalypse. Alpacalypse now. Yeah, alpacas are cool. Yeah, what's cool? In Ecuador, people, they're not about to have a lot of this bullshit that gets pushed on the Western world. Now, smartphones coming in, smartphones happening has really changed things a lot here. It's really changed things significantly. And, I mean, the whole world, it's like there's a perfect place to live in the world. The whole world is fallen. The whole world is, there's suffering everywhere. There's no, like, perfect place. There's no Shambhala here on Earth. But, yeah, that's kind of the story of how we ended up coming down here to Ecuador. And we like it. So we've been, give you a little update. We've been working on the house. The house is coming along. The floors are getting put in next week. Then, after that, we've got to do all the fittings, all the water stuff, get all the water put in. Then we're going to have to get the windows and doors. So we're working on that. Everything's coming together really nicely. It's pretty awesome. But the roof's done. The foundation's done. The walls are done. The electricity's done for the most part. We just got to get all the fittings and fixtures. And we're moving forward on that. So that's pretty exciting news. I'll have an office. That's going to be great. So I'll have an office in which I can stream. So I can stream during the day. I don't even know if I'll be allowed on YouTube anymore. Who knows? I mean, the abysmal rate at which my subscribers get notified and people who click the bell get notified it's pretty alarming now. This recent adpocalypse has wiped out and cut my viewership, especially to these live ones. And we're getting like a third of the people that used to get notified being notified. So I don't know what's going to happen as far as YouTube goes, but we're still going to be pumping out content. We're still going to be helping people. My passion is working with people, helping people. I really like coaching people. Like, to me, that's one of the funnest things. One of the coolest things I've gotten to do over the last 4-year journey of using YouTube and using social media as a platform for business. Other than me hating how social media gets used for the most part, hating the social engineering aspects of it, it's really cool that we're able to reach out and help people. So I've met literally thousands of people over the last few years, especially in the last year, probably coached 1,000 people just since the beginning of 2018 because we were doing the Keto and Carnivore Collective every month. So it's so cool to get to know so many different people, my mind has kind of become this, the algorithms in my brain have been updated to, it's like I don't know, the mind is pretty amazing and you can really click in, and if you get good at something, it becomes really, really fun. So I like doing the coaching thing. To me, it's really fun. So we're going to keep doing that. Next month, we got the Keto and Carnivore Collective. Still take on private clients, which is fun as well. And but we're able to do it for a more affordable price, and we're able to serve more people in our group coaching. So if you're interested in that, if you want to get down on the group coaching in July, we're starting on July 7th. That's going to be really fun. Let's see. In other news, the truck is running again. That's cool. Little adjustments here and there. I mean, I could stop messing with it right now, but there's a few little things I got to get sorted out. First of all, it seems like it's starting really rich, and it's wasting a lot of fuel at first start. You get like a little bit of black smoke at first start, and that probably has to do with carburetor that I got to tinker with more, which is a pain in the ass. I'm sick of this carb. Messed with it so much. I could just leave it. It's running great. It's just initial startup starts too rich. That might have to do with the fuel pump. I had to use an electric fuel pump. Thinking out loud. But it also could have to do with the camshaft and the fact that I put a longer rocker arm ratio on the intake than the exhaust. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to change the rocker arms on the intake back to 1.5. Maybe I was thinking maybe I was just getting too much fuel on the intake side, not enough lift on the exhaust. So yeah, messing with the car. Awesome. The truck is running. I know a lot of people really like the truck. I did a few clips of it. And so I'll do an update on that. Maybe do some vlog videos soon. But yeah, that's what we've been up to, guys. We bought a couple cows last week. We're putting them up on the property, Saturday? Mm-hmm. Saturday, we're getting our cows up there on the property because we sold off the other cows that we had. We had like 12 cows up there. It was 13, I think, when we finally sold them. And but there wasn't enough pasture for 13 cows. The people who had them there before, they were pasturing them in some other places. I think we could have maybe kept like 8 of them up there, but they were getting a little skinny. We sold them.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the cow that we are getting, it's a brown Swiss mixed with a Brahman. How much Brahman does she have? He said like 30%. Anyways, the guy that we're getting her from, Carnival knows him. I don't know. Do you know him? Do you know Freddie Carnival? Freddie Ramon. This guy's chill. Freddie's super chill. He's like a lawyer guy. These lawyers he's a Lohano, right? So he lives in the city that's kind of outside of the valley we live in. The closest city is like 40 minutes away. So he lives in town, but he's got this great, awesome finca with, I think he said it was 200 hectares. Is that what it was? 225 hectares. Beautiful piece of land. And he had some of the best cows. He always wins the milking competitions. They do milking competitions in Kenara, and people come from all over. They bring their best cow, and he wins it. He gets the most milk. And so yeah, we got a cow from him. She's pregnant. It's going to be her first. It's her first pregnancy, so it's going to be the first milking. And then we got another calf, which is a mix of a brown Swiss with a little bit of gyr. These produce quite a bit of cream, apparently, and the gyr are the GYR is how you spell it. And they're very, very resistant in this area, so apparently they handle it real well. That's going to be pretty cool. So that's where we're going towards, guys. That's what we're going towards, competitive cow milking.
No.
Yes. Fucking win. No, I'm kidding. No, we're not going to get competitive cow milking, but we are going to be getting a lot of our own food off our own land. Ultimately, the goal is to be self-sufficient off our own land. Right, so the milk that we don't drink, which we'll be getting maybe 20 liters a day, the milk we don't drink, making it into cheese, butter, grass-fed dairy products, raw, of course, unpasteurized, which is the way that milk and dairy should be consumed. And we are going to, we're going to be kind of moving towards that, which will be really fun. Of course, we're still doing all this stuff. And we'll kind of move towards, the channel will go towards a more homesteading type vibe. Of course, we're always talking about eating meat, making families. And hopefully we'll be able to trade a lot of and sell a lot of the milk and the products that we're making when we finally live on our land. And we'll hopefully be able to feed ourselves and family just off of our own food and trading that food for other foods, which will be really cool. We're not going to be using the cows for meat up there, but we'll get a little bit of meat each year. Maybe slaughter one calf per year for some veal. People are freaking out in the chat because of the microchip stuff. Someone says it's crazy how people are glued to their phones when I go out. Yeah. You're constantly being programmed with feedback loops that's already manipulating you hormonally, your dopamine levels, without the need for implant technology. So this is the funny thing with the implants. Like Jose Delgado said, you don't need the implants. You create feedback loops outside of the need for that type of tech. The more techie we get, it seems dumb, gets worse, and spreads. Well, yeah, I don't know. Technology is not inherently bad. Right? It's not like tools are not inherently bad. It's when you start worshiping these tools, which is exactly what the AI thing is about. This is exactly what transhumanism is really about. It's about worshiping the tools. It's about giving up life, giving up the connection to reality, and falling further. Crazy times, guys. So I've gone longer than I should have gone. We talked all about Swami Dean Ornish Vegananda, Vegananda, and his wife, the Reiki master, who she does Reiki on high-end Palomino horses in Malibu. We talked a little bit about all kinds of stuff. We talked about brain chipping. We talked about Jose Delgado. And why the heck is the New York Times talking about chipping our brains, chipping ourselves, and living in a automated luxury, of course, luxury communism, right? Let's live in a fully automated luxury communism. Crazy times, right, guys? Anyways, look, real foods come from animals. Real foods are not products. Animal foods are real foods. Products are not foods. Right? Real food should be local if you can, right? If you live in a city and you can't source foods locally, do what you can do. But real food comes from animals. 4 grams of fat is abysmally low. This Dr. Dean Ornish Vegananda guy is giving some really, really shitty advice. And so we're always here to call these people out. We're always here to spread what's true. So we're all about telling you to get off of social media, Get off the dang computer. Tune into the show. Get what you get out of it. But then go live in the real world. Don't disconnect from the real world to connect to your fake Facebook world. All right, so get out there. Go delete your damn Facebook account. Quit taking in all this toxic social engineering crap. See it for what it is when you're taking it too. Right? See these articles for what they really are. This is social engineering. This is engineering you to be a product. And it's our choice whether to be a product or not. It's our choice whether to embrace the truth, whether to embrace reality, or whether to embrace illusion and worship the tools that we could be using to actually serve us. And instead, we get duped into serving them. So what's really driving the ship, guys? That's the question, huh? What's really in charge? How many of your thoughts are really your own? How many of your opinions and ideas have just been implanted through suggestion and through repetition? And how much of the food that you're eating is actually real food? So steaks over cakes, guys. Truth comes from one place. It's not the fucking New York Times. It's not Dean Ornish. Peace.